Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Let us look at the coolest Spring Boot banner generator that exists out there. And of course, this is my webpage, codeinvestigator.com. Then there's a point right here that says Spring Boot banner. So this means I can actually write something cool right here. I can say Mike's cool application, and then you can see that it is actually turned into some ASCII graphics right here. You can choose whichever font that you want to have right here. I've usually defaults, the standard font is usually okay. Let us just choose something right here. We'll say maybe another one right here. When you first start choosing these fonts, then it's difficult to stop again. So just try to use the standard if you can. If it says undefined, then it's because I don't have the fonts in the right format in my resource folder. But here we have Mike's cool application. That looks cool, right? Then you can include the versions if you want to. If you tick off this one, include versions, this will then add versions to. Let me just zoom in a bit. It will add some, it will take the version from the manifest.mf file, and then it will place it right here, application version right here, and the formatted version. The same with the Spring Boot version, and the formatted version, and the application title right here. So, of course, this is made so you can actually just edit it yourself afterwards. You can just delete. Maybe you don't want the application title because you have already placed it up here. And maybe it's already right there. Let's just change it a bit. It looks a bit too much. It looks. I should just kept the standard one. Let me just choose the standard one. I'll just refresh. So I'll just press back right here. Back to my banner right here, and I'll include the versions, and then I'll also include something called color. And again, this is just to give you some inspiration. Of course, you can add more colors yourself. It will be blue. This means that this part will be blue if your terminal output actually allows anti-colors. It's not all of them that does that. It depends on your depends on the output viewer. Or else this would actually be shown in blue, and then it will actually remove all of the styles again, and then it will be the normal style afterwards right here again. So this is the Spring Boot banner generator right here. When you are happy with what you see, then you can copy. Then you can copy the result. I'm covering the button right here. So I'll just do like this, then I press copy, and then I have copied it to clipboard after doing that. If you want to do something more specific, then you can actually see right here. Then the documentation to Spring Boot banners are down here. You just press this button right here, and you'll be directed to Spring Boot's official documentation on banners. But now we have a. Let us change this. Mike's application, Mike's app. So. And then we copy this one right here. And then I want to use that in my application. I have one application right here. I have already done some minor things, but I'll just, let me just paste all of these right here. So right here we have blue. I don't want blue, I want another color. So as you can see right here in IntelliJ, you actually get code completion for these stuff also. So I can have bright magenta right here. I can change that halfway down through my banner. Then I can set that to maybe green. It's okay, and then we can have another color here in the bottom that could be bright yellow or something like that. So now we have a lot of colors, and then we set it to normal in the end right here. That's quite cool. What is not so cool is that these properties right here will only be available in the jar file, because that is where we get the manifest.mf file. It will be auto generated and packed along with your in your jar file. So that is not so cool. Let me just show how I created this project. I pressed File, New Project right here. Then I chose Spring Initializer. I chose Spring 3 because I'm also using this project for a Spring Boot 3 demo video. So then I press next right here, and then I added, I also added GraalVM, and then I added the web, Spring Web like this. And I also added some data. I also added some data right here, Spring Data JPA right there. And I also added the H2, and then I pressed finish, and then I ended up with this project right here. It's just so you know that there's nothing really special about this project. by default, it is banner.txt that will be picked up and shown. But of course, you can set, if you want another file, then you can just set your file in your application.properties. Then you can set banner location, and you can set that to banner minus mic.txt instead. Of course, your file also needs to be named minus mic, like this. And I've already prepared some cool solution to the properties that we cannot see, but let us just... let me just start my application right now. Let me can see the banner to begin with. Here we have it, Mike's app. Look at all those cool colors that are there. Then we have all of the versions right here, and most of them are empty, as you can see. We do not have the manifest version. We do not have the formatted version. That's because it's not a jar file yet. Of course, we can run it as a jar file. So let us just do that. We can first of all we can run install. Then we will get the jar file. So I'm running Maven install now. MVN install. So then I get my jar file. And I could actually also just run the application as if I go to plugins, and I can say Spring Boot run like that. Oh, that would just start from Maven. We want to start the jar file. So now we have built the jar file. So I'll go to my terminal right there. I'm going to go to the target folder, which is right here. And here we have the jar file somewhere. And here it is, this one right here. So then I will take my jar file right here, copy. Then I can say java minus jar. And then I can say the name of my jar file. And that is Spring Boot 3. 0 minus 0 blah blah, this one right here. Then I can press enter, and then I can see my application run. Here we have this time we can see the banner. This time there are no colors. That's because anti-coloring is not allowed in this terminal right here. So that is why it's just black. Of course, that's a bit boring. Then we have the version numbers. So here we got the version numbers, and those version numbers are taken from your pump.xml file in this situation right here. It's 001 and then snapshot and 001 snapshot right here. So, and the application name, Spring Boot 3 right here, is also taken from your pump.xml file. Yeah, so those, it works, it's fine, it's good, but what about when I run locally? I also want to see some versions right there. First of all, you should actually not care about the versions when you run locally. But if you really, really care, then there is a workaround. You can run some filtering on your resources, and that's what I've added right here. So in the build section, you can add resources, and then you can set up some filtering in the resource folder. You can include the application properties files that you want to filter. And then if you go to your application properties right here, then you can actually, first you can set some stuff. You can set some variables like Mike's app name or something like that. You can set Mike's version, right, like that. And then you can actually set it to the project variables from Maven. So this is the one we get from the pump XML file, project, artifact ID, project version. And then we have, of course, our banner mic file right here. Then, of course, I can point to those instead. So that means that the mic's version right here, the version, then I can point to that by writing mic.version. I can also have Mike's application right here, What I do right here, I will not recommend you to do this, but it is possible to do it. It's just if you really want the version when you run locally and the app name, then you can, then you can get it like this. So we have Mike.app name like this. And now let us try to run locally. So now I'm just running my application, and let us see if we got Mike's version and Mike's app name. Yes, they're right there, because we are doing a small trick right here. And we're actually copying the values into a property right here, and then we are using that property in the banner files, because in the banner file we can use all of our properties. All of the properties that we set in the application of properties can actually be used in the banner file. Some other prop equal to hello. This is cool. Then of course we can also use this now if we want to. Message Yeah, so this could be the message of the day. It could also be today's, maybe the menu in the cantina for the day. You can place whatever you want there. So let us try to run again, and this time we should see that now we have message, hello, this is cool. So the banners are quite awesome, but why are they important? They are important because when you have a lot of environments, first of all, you want to see which application is running, and if you are a developer, then you at some point you're probably on more than one project. You probably have more than one application, especially if you're dealing with microservices. If you're creating a lot of microservices, then you have a lot of applications, and then you want to see which application you're actually running in your output. And at some point, you will mess it up because maybe you're tired, you will start up the wrong project, and so it is quite important. Also, when you get the log files, maybe you actually get the log files from the wrong Kubernetes deployment, or from the wrong pod, then this will actually tell you up in the top that this was Mike's app, this was not the microservice 747 or whatever you thought you looked at. So it is very important with banners. One more thing that I could have added right here was the environment. So let's just go back to Code Investigator and the banner generator right here. So let me just add my environment. This could be development. So this is my development environment. Let me just copy that again. So then we go back to my banner right here, and now I've added developments. And of course, when we start up the application again, now we can also see which environment it is. I definitely recommend that you also add the environment, because then you know that this was a development environment, or you also know when it's production, which is even worse, right? So, well, not worse, but it's you have to be a bit more careful, of course, in production. So that's actually it. And then of course it was just also to show off my web page right here, that I have made this web page that I'm trying to make it as useful as possible. I also have some data format converter, can convert XML, JSON, YAML into one of the other formats, like Hello World right here. Then it converts it to the JSON. I can also convert it to YAML like this. Try it out and let me know what you think. You can also base 64 encode something right here, and you can of course also decode your base 64 right here. And of course, I've also added security. This means that this is because this is basic authentication. I always very often I have the need to actually add this header in some kind of project that I'm making, and I just want to make it convenient. So then I can add the username and password right here, and then you have a header for basic authorization, and then basic, and then the base 64 encoding of the username : password right here. So it's kind of a utility web page. That's how I'm trying to make it useful, right? So then we have the games that I've reviewed. Those right there, and then there's a welcome page right here. With my face and some cartoons also. But I hope you like this video, and I hope you make some banners for your application. And of course, you should have one banner per profile. So that means that when you have a banner, so if you have an application minus production right here, production like this, then of course you would also have a banner production like this, right? So you have one. And of course, you would then delete development like this, and then you will go back to Spring Boot banner. Then you will create production right here, copy that, go back to your banner.txt file, and then means that now if you go and run your Spring Boot application with active profile production like this, there's one more thing we need to do. We also need to set the banner right here in the application production file right here. Then we can set that to production like this, and then we can start up our application, and then we should actually see that now we're running in production mode, right? So Mike's app production, it's just easier to see, especially if you sit and you're a bit tired, and it just makes sense. Whenever you start up an application, you can see which application is running and which profile is it actually running with. Which profile it's running with. That's very important, I think. As usual, thank you very much, and for all of your comments. I always get so happy when you write a small comment, so thank you very much for that. Have a great evening, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.